Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Non-League Not Latter for our 7th episode. Um, yeah, so we're still going. Numbers are getting better every week, so thanks for everyone that's listening. Both managed to get to a game this weekend. No issues with the weather. Was plans for me to go to a game tonight, but that has fallen foul of the weather. Andrew, you got a game in the week, or?
Not in the week, no, not this week. So I'm out again Saturday. So
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, opportunity has come tonight, presented itself to us tonight to record. So here we are. As always, as I say, we'll start with the match reports. So yeah, and I'll get us kicked off with finally the third attempt. Tividale versus Ashby in the FA Vars. Yeah, no real issues with the weather. Pretty clear from Tuesday onwards. A little bit of rain here and there. Ground did hold a little bit of water, obviously from the week previously. Yeah, no standing water. Pitch was a little bit heavy though, but nothing too major. But yeah, it's one of those games, not really too much to report on. Two teams kind of just battling the conditions with the pitch. You could play football, but it was difficult to play football because of the pitch being heavy. So it's obviously like probably taking out of the players' legs. Ashby probably started a little bit brighter in the first few minutes. Didn't really create much. And then Tivy, probably for the remainder of the first half, has the better of the play. Couple of really, really good chances for Tivy. Should have done better than really. One was cleared off the line by the defender. And another one was a very good save from the Ashby keeper to turn the effort over the bar. Those are the two standout ones. A few half chances, but nothing really too clear cut. There was a goal just before half time, and it went to Ashby. I didn't see it. I'm getting good at this. I was putting the programmes in the office, but it was from a corner. Someone came up to me and asked me the question of, is the forward allowed to lean on a goalkeeper from a corner? I was like, well, it depends on what you mean by lean. I was like, but in most situations, as long as he's not impeding the goalkeeper, yes. So one particular individual was like, it should never have counted, it was a foul. But then I spoke to others who was like, it's not a foul. Essentially, the ball's come in. Lewis has gone to catch it, not quite caught it. It's bounced around in the box, and the Ashby player has just stabbed it in.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm not going to comment on it. Lewis, I worked with Lewis last year. Massive respect for him. He's probably got us to where we are in the Vars this season. Yeah, if Lewis has made a mistake, he already knows. I'm not going to analyse it inside and out for him. When he's 6 months older than me, so I respect my elders. Yeah. But so they went in the break 1-0 up. It was a very stop-start first half. A lot of little niggly tackles and fouls. A lot of surrounding the referee, and we'll get onto that in a little bit. Not like I say, not really many chances. Second half, there was a sin bin early on for Ashby. Didn't see it. Was coming out the toilet. But obviously dissent. It's a sin bin, so it was obviously for dissent.
Yeah.
During that period, Tividale drew level. Ryan Snape, who we've just taken back from Lye, he left us to go to Lye. Wasn't getting the game time, so came back. Did really well. He made the goal himself. He chased the ball into the area between the 18-yard box and the touchline, the side of the pitch. Yeah, won the ball back off the Ashby player who went down like a sack of potatoes, asking for a foul. But it wasn't. It was never a foul. Really good tackle. Cuts back inside, skips past one defender, and then curls one into the top corner.
Yeah, nice.
I was going to say best goal of the afternoon, but maybe not. But it was a very, very good finish and showing why a Stratford club looked at him. Just unfortunately didn't work out for him at that club.
Yeah.
So Lydd Town's loss is Tividale's gain, and we'll keep him for as long as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 1-1, game on. Looks like Tividale winning his tendency, in all honesty. If anyone was going to go on to win it at that moment, looked like it was potentially going to be Tividale.
Mhm.
However, a few minutes later, long ball from the goalkeeper over the top. One of the centre halves, I'm not sure which one it was, tried to head it back to Lewis, didn't get enough onto it. Put the forward in 1-on-1. Still plenty of work to do. Lewis has obviously come out a little off his line a little bit to try and meet the ball, close him down. On the half volley, fantastic strike over the top of Lewis into the roof of the net. No chance. 2-1 Ashby. By which point Ashby are back up to the full complement of 11 as well. So it's back to 11v11. Then again, very much the same as the first half. Very bitty, stop-start. And that's pretty much how it went to the end of the game. And yeah, Ashby progressed to the next round of the Vars, winning 2-1. Yeah, they put a tweet out saying after a sensational performance, we're through to the last 32. We looked at it and thought sensational. It's like, it wasn't sensational, it was hard fought, give you that.
Yeah.
But then you look into it a bit more, Ashby have got a lot of players out, loads of players playing out of position, so I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough. It probably...
From their point of view, maybe it was sensational. Yeah.
Just want to touch on the referee slightly with this one. Not necessarily a bad thing. I think he had a very, very, very good game. Tividale, on another day, would have been down to 10 men within the first 5-6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say the referee dealt with the situation very, very well. Ball bouncing in the middle of the park. Cody Mullen and an Ashby player are both going for it 50-50. Cody gets there first. Now, Cody's not a player who does things by half. He went in full-blooded.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant tackle, won the ball. But he has caught the Ashby player.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where he's caught him as a result of a good tackle. It's just an awkward one and a sore one for the Ashby player.
Yeah.
To the extent that the referee hasn't even given a free kick. Ball's carried on through to the Ashby keeper. The only reason he stopped the game is because of the way the Ashby player on the floor. It does seem like it could be a serious injury.
Yeah.
But fair play to the referee, because of the way the Ashby players have reacted and the bench have reacted and they're all surrounding the referee. A less stronger-minded, stronger-willed referee would have caved into that and potentially could have walked. Thinking, well, if the reaction's that bad from everyone, it must have been a bad tackle. Maybe I've not seen it right.
Yeah.
But no, stuck to his guns. It's not even a foul. Just needs to make sure the player's okay. Drop ball, restart of the goalkeeper. So fair play to him there.
Yeah.
I have to say, the only thing that disappointed me with it was, as I say, Ashby players surrounded him for that. They did it an awful lot, and they were on his ear an awful lot.
Yeah.
Like
But then he dealt with that in the second half of the sin bin, so he obviously was aware of what they were up to and ready to deal with it.
He did, but I feel like he could have dealt with it a lot earlier because it was pretty much every decision.
Yeah.
And I think, although he did deal with it eventually, and it did actually carry on after the sin bin as well, so God knows what the player said to him to sin bin him, it must have been really bad. That's the only criticism.
Yeah.
There was another incident where, again, I didn't see this because the ball had been spread, so we were following the ball. But it's happened in front of the dugouts and in front of the assistant, where Cody again, and I think it was Ashby's number 19, there was something going on off the ball. A couple of people have said the Ashby players done something, he should have been sent off. Like I don't know, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But he spoke to his assistant, and the decision they came to was a yellow card for each. Again, can't criticise it, didn't see it, but fair enough.
Yeah.
And the only contentious thing that I did see was what was a slight penalty shout from Tividale.
Right.
Would have been very harsh, but it's one of those where he'd been given this outside the box all game. So I was a little bit disappointed that we've been given it outside the box.
Yeah.
Although I've been saying it's soft when you've been given it, you've been given them all day outside the box.
Yeah.
Two players going up, jumping for the ball, header. The one kind of leans into the other one and knocks him off balance. Not really a foul, but as I say, he's been fairly consistently giving it outside the box all game. But as I say, other than that, fairly good game, and well done, Ashby. They are into the round of 32 for the first time in their history, so
Yeah. Good.
yeah, good luck to them. Stay Portsmouth away in the next round.
Yeah. That'll be good
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Saturday afternoon, I was on my travels again. I went to Wellingborough Town versus Eynesbury Rovers, which are in the United Counties Premier League South. First time I've been there. Nice little ground. You go in through the gate, and they like sheds. So your ticket office is a shed. So you pay your man in the shed. You go in, and then they've got this nice little clubhouse on the right hand side. We're at one end behind the goal. Lots of decking outside to stand around on. There's another larger shed. Well, to call it a shed's not really fair. But it's a wooden building, which was their tea room. So one window for teas and coffees, another window for the food. Nice burger, pepper for the bovril, doing well. Then down one side, there's another shed, and this is the club shop. So that was good as well. And just beyond that, there's a nice grandstand to stand or sit in and watch the game. So it's a nice little setup. So in terms of the teams, Wellingborough second in the league, and Eynesbury either 16th or 17th at the start of the game. So a bit of a mismatch there. You would expect a Wellingborough win. So what happened? Well, not a lot for the first 10 minutes. Just a bit of to and fro, getting used to each other. The first real attempt from either side was Wellingborough, cross from the right, met at the 18-yard line, and dead centre, solid right foot, and the keeper tips it over. Really good save. The resulting corner came to nothing. Just 4 minutes later, a free kick to Wellingborough, rolled into the box, and the striker hit it low, and the keeper was down smartly. That's a good save. Wellingborough starting to show a little bit of dominance, showing that they are the better team at this point. So we move on about. We're just coming up towards 20 minutes. And number 7 for Wellingborough, I don't know his name off the top of my head. I have got it written down, but he was a really good player all game, actually. He broke down the left. He crossed across the face of the goal. Defender went to try and clear it. It bounced off his foot, bobbled up, and met by a Wellingborough head at the far post. 1-0 Wellingborough. Wellingborough really looked to get the ball forward quickly through the game. They were good value for it. So half an hour comes along, and it's a yellow card for Eynesbury. It was a bad tackle, but the yellow was correct. It certainly wasn't a red card foul, despite what some of the shouts from the crowd were. But the referee got that one bang on. It was yellow, so
We've got
absolutely fine.
more chance of get him off. Get him off. What's that?
Yeah, that's all that's going on. So 35 minutes, a searching ball over the top comes down just outside the area. The striker's bearing down on the keeper. The keeper's in his area. The defender gets in between and doesn't manage to head it straight into the waiting keeper's arms. He manages to head it down into the ground and bounces in front of the keeper, by which time the striker's got in between the two, chips it over the keeper, follows it up and butts it in the net. 2-0. The keeper's moaning that he had it under his control. The keeper never even had it at any point. So obviously he's going to moan and complain, but no way. It was despite that mistake, Ainsbury's keeper is stopping this being a cricket store at this point. Wellingborough are going forward a lot, and he's keeping them in the game.
I was
So
just about to say that, yeah.
yeah,
I've
so
seen the highlights.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So just coming up towards half time, the number 7 for Wellingborough again picks up the ball on the corner of the box. He runs horizontally across the top of the box, gets himself a little bit of space, swings his right foot straight back across the goal into the far corner. Absolutely lovely goal. It was a real screamer. Really good finish. 3-0.
yeah,
And that's how they go in at half time. There was one more chance right on the half time, a corner headed towards the goal and cleared off the line by an Eynesbury defender. So 3-0 at half time, well deserved lead. So during half time, I mean, I've got my little match report that I've written here that I'm reading from, but I'm also on the telly got the highlights of the match, which I'm just playing through to make sure I'm getting it right with the mute
yeah,
button on.
yeah,
And this is courtesy of a YouTube vlogger who goes by the
yeah,
name of Dash71,
yeah,
DASH71. I met him at half time. We had a nice chat. Nice guy called Darren, and he goes out to non-league matches all over the place and does what he calls his match day vlogs. Bit
yeah,
about the ground that he's gone to, films bits of the match, interviews with interesting people. He was talking to the Eynesbury manager on this video, and he pops up the video on the Saturday evening or the Sunday morning.
yeah,
So he's well worth a watch. So just to say again, his YouTube channel is Dash71, so DASH71. Go and watch his vlogs. It's actually really good. So that's good. So I've just been watching back the highlights as I've been talking here, just to make sure I'm getting the descriptions right. So far, all right.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this was another game of 2 hours, a bit like yours was quiet in the first half and a bit more in the second. This was a lot in the first half and a very quiet second half.
yeah.
Ainsbury came out and seemed to have a little bit more about them in the second half.
Mhm.
They still didn't get hardly any chances, but they were defending a lot better. So Wellingborough started off with a fast start again, more pressure, but not a lot happening with it.
Yeah,
Ainsbury are cutting it out and stopping them. 65 minutes halfway through the second half, and it's still mostly Welly, but they haven't managed to add to the score yet. They've had a few good chances, but I say Ainsbury were much more determined in defence and making a few attempts to attack as well. So it's a much more even game in the second half.
yeah,
75 minutes, Wellingborough had a corner, put it over to the far post, and it was headed just over. And they hit the bar right on the 90th minute. They were smacking the bar. So it finished 3-0 to Wellingborough. Not an awful lot to
yeah,
report from the second half. I will
yeah.
say that the officials had an excellent game.
Good.
I hardly even noticed they were there. And that's what you like. If you've got referees and linesmen that you don't even notice,
Yeah,
then they're obviously doing something right. And these
yeah,
ones were
100%.
very, very good. So yeah, all in all, it's a good day out. Salvation Army band were there at the start and at half time playing as well. So we had a little bit of Christmas music going on. They had a Christmas raffle, and yeah, it was all very festive. Very good afternoon.
Good,
Yeah, so there we go.
good, yeah. Yeah, just on the YouTube vlogger Dash71, he's also on Twitter.
Yeah,
Um, on Twitter, he's Dash71 underscore.
yeah,
Obviously, a little bit more interaction on there. He tells you where his plans are, and probably a little bit easier to communicate via Twitter than it is YouTube as well.
yeah.
Although you
Next
got
Saturday, I think it's Buckingham Town, isn't it? Buckingham against
yeah, you can
Winslow.
say he was going to be local, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But also just touching on Wellingboroug's second goal, was it, where the keeper was claiming the foul and
yeah,
whatnot?
yeah,
As I say, I've seen the highlights. And like I say, and you said, if it wasn't for him, it would have been a cricket score. He had a very, very good game.
yeah,
Being very, very hypercritical of the goalkeeper on that goal. He's
yeah,
waited for the ball. He could have taken another step. If he takes
yeah,
that other step, he gets there first.
yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, like I say, that is the only thing I can criticise him for, and the only reason
Yeah, he
I'm
made a few
criticising
good
him,
saves that were on the video as well. So
yeah,
yeah, he had a good
yeah,
game apart from that, really. So
as I say, then the only reason I'm criticising it is because then he's decided to shout at the referee that he's been fouled when he hasn't. If he had just
yeah,
taken that extra step, he's getting there first.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
yeah.
yeah.
Just quickly before we move on,
Mm,
as I say, Tividale were supposed to be playing Staples Swifts away tonight.
yeah.
A little bit of hoo-ha surrounding that on Twitter. May have been involved with it, may have not been involved with it. You know me.
Yeah.
So essentially, we were informed there was going to be a pitch inspection at 3:45. 3:45 comes along. Obviously, people start looking at the phones, getting their phones out. You don't expect anything straight away, but you expect something fairly soon, 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
We get a message in our WhatsApp group from one of the players. Game's off, and we're like, "What?" Leon's like, "Well, I've not heard anything." And Leon, being the club secretary, is the one who gets the official things from the other club secretary and chairman and whatnot.
Yeah.
Then it's on Twitter. Game off. Not tagged him down
Mm,
in it, just tonight's game is off. So someone from the club account, I'll say someone, there's 3 or 4 people who got access to it. I know it's Leon, and Leon will say he will know it's him, and he'll admit it's him. Because it's
mm.
has gone, well, thanks for letting us know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
um, yeah, which then has prompted Ryan Pratt. Now, I'll get on with Ryan Pratt. We get on, we have a laugh. And we've kind of not had a hoo-ha, but just
Yeah.
had a bit of a conflab via Twitter, which incidentally was kicked off by my comment that I did under the non-league profile because I didn't realise I was on it rather than the footy post, so apologies.
Right. Yeah.
But
Getting us into trouble.
but we've got 2 followers from it, so um, but yeah, Ryan Pratt's gone and said, "Well, I've texted players and management as soon as I found out." And Leon's basically gone back and said, "Yeah, well, that's not the club, is it? And that doesn't make it official." By texting the
No.
player.
No, I mean, it's all right putting the news out by various joints, but you've got to do it through the proper channel at
Yeah.
first, really. Yeah. So
So like it's getting a little bit tasty. So I've come back with one of those people eating popcorn gifts.
I suppose the advantage is, I mean, it's not that far from there to Stourport, so it's
No, definitely not.
not like you're going to be on the way. So
but I've come back then with one of those, the gifts for the people eating popcorn, like, because this is getting interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, and then what Ryan Pratt has done is quoted that tweet saying, "I've never seen something so immature" or something like that.
Right.
Which I can't see through the non-league Nutter Natter profile because we don't follow each other and because he's a private account. If you don't follow each other, you
Right.
can't see the tweet, even if you're tagged in it.
Oh, right.
So I've seen that through my Putty Post account and gone, "Oh, hello." So then I've gone back with, "Well, have you ever known anything as unprofessional as not even letting the team know your game's called off?" Uh, yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, it's all kicking off in Tividale. Well,
No,
lovely.
it ended amicably. Um,
That's all right then.
as I say, I've always got on with Ryan. We talk when we see each other out and about. We talk when we're at the game. So yeah, I've got no problems with him. It was just a bit of an annoyance
Yeah.
at the time. I'm sure when
Yeah.
we see each other, we'll sort it out, and we'll be well. I've got no
Yeah.
problems with Ryan. um,
Mm.
but yeah, just a little bit to keep you in the loop. That yeah, I may have caused a bit of trouble on Twitter with our account inadvertently because I thought it was my other account. But we got followers, so it's
Let's do
okay.
it again. Well, as I say, distance-wise, it's not that much of an issue. You're not going to be already on the way. But one thing I've
Yeah,
been doing this last week is I've been looking at
yeah,
the distances teams have to travel in the various divisions.
yes.
Um, so I started with the National League and thought, what's the longest trip in the National League? I thought,
Hmm.
well, National League is a National League, so
Nationwide, yeah,
it should be. It's nationwide. It's the whole of England, so it should be quite a big one. So the
yeah,
biggest one I could find involves, unsurprisingly, Gateshead,
yeah,
right up in the northeast,
yeah.
down to Eastleigh on the south coast near Southampton.
Okay, yeah.
331 miles, that one.
Is that a round trip or
So
each way?
that's a big one. So you think, okay, that's a fair old trek, 331 miles.
Yeah.
So 662 round trip.
Yeah.
This is using Google Maps on best
Yeah.
route, the fastest route. So that's the
Mhm.
way I've done it. So that's interesting. So National League, longest distance, 331. What happens at step 2? Well,
Yeah.
we split the country. Well, we don't split the country in half, do we?
Theoretically, we should.
We have National League North and we have National League South. And bearing in mind, National League North comes down to Gloucester and Bishop Stortford,
Well, this is
you've got a
this is
bit of a disparity. So you
yeah.
would think that the National League North would have a longer big distance than the National League South, wouldn't you?
Well, given
Would
the
you say?
split this season, yes. Because as you say, it comes pretty
Okay.
far south this year.
So would you be surprised if I told you that the difference between the longest trip in the north and the longest trip in the south is a mere 5 miles?
Given that Blythe Spartans are in the National League North, yes.
So Blythe Spartans are the ones that are involved in the National League North. Their longest trip is actually to Hereford,
Yeah, sounds about right.
291 miles.
Okay.
Okay, for that one.
And Dover in National League South now. Oh,
So National League South, the longest trip is
yeah,
286 miles.
yeah,
Now, it's from Dover
yeah.
to Truro, except it's not to Truro because Truro are actually playing in Plymouth this season. So
Okay,
Truro
so
to
that,
Plymouth, 286 miles. If Truro were actually playing in Truro, it
yeah,
would be longer journey than the National League journey because it would actually be 332 from Dover to Truro. But because they're only playing in Plymouth, it's only
yeah,
286.
yeah.
So, so yeah,
Okay,
so National League North, which, like I say, stretches from Northumbria right the way down to Bishop Stortford and Gloucester,
yeah.
that's the longest journey is only 5 miles more than the long east-west journey of Dover to Truro stroke Plymouth. So
Yeah, but
that's interesting.
that was
Yeah,
interesting, yes.
yeah. So that was a good one. But then I thought, right, what happens next then? Where
Yeah,
do we go next? Let's go down to step 3, see what happens.
yeah,
So step 3, we've got 4 divisions. We've got Northern Premier League,
yeah.
Premier Division, Southern League Premier Central, Southern
Mhm.
League Premier South, and Isthmian Premier League.
Mhm.
Well, it's pretty obvious which one's the shortest journey because the Isthmian Premier League is pretty much the southeast of the country.
Yeah,
But even then, they managed to rack up a longest journey of 125 miles,
okay.
which again involves a team in the far east of Kent, being Margate.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go to Bognor Regis, it's 125 miles.
Wow,
So it's a fair old trek.
that is, yeah.
Second, second bottom, just coming in just under 200 miles in Southern League Premier Central.
Mhm.
So we've got the big fat middle bit of the country here. So
Yeah,
the distance is going to be an east to west distance on this one. Leiston on the Suffolk coast
yeah.
to Telford,
Okay.
199 miles
Oh,
across the
okay.
country, that one. So
Yeah,
that's a fair old trek. Now, here's time for a quiz then for you. You've got the Southern League Premier South and the Northern
yeah.
Premier League. Which one's longer? Which one's got the longest long journey?
Set three. Or I would say probably the Northern.
There's not a lot in it again. It's only 7 miles in it this time. So Northern Premier League,
Yeah,
222 miles to go from Morpeth to Stafford.
yeah.
And Southern League Premier South, 229 miles to go from Plymouth Parkway to Chesham.
Okay.
So,
The
so when
Southern.
you get to the south of the country, it's the east-west distances that are longer than the
Yeah,
north-south.
North South. Yeah,
So then, just for completion, I decided to do step 4 as well. It's got 8 divisions in this one.
yeah.
We range in distances here from 61 to 245.
Yeah,
So the shortest distance is Isthmian Division 1 South Central.
yeah.
Short journey from Thatcham, just by Reading, to South Park in South London.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that's got Kenny and Cartman playing for them.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
already worked that one. To 245 miles for Southern League Division 1 South. Now, the
Ooh.
reason they've got such a long one on there is because Mousehole are playing in that division.
Yes, they are.
Down in the south side of Cornwall.
Yeah.
And they rack up a journey of 245 miles to get to Evesham in Gloucestershire. Now, Mousehole being so far in the southwest of the country, I would imagine, I haven't checked it, but I would imagine their travel bill is probably the highest in that division, if not the highest in the division above as well. Because
Potentially,
everywhere they go is a long way. So I haven't checked, but I would imagine it's a long one.
yeah, I'd imagine so.
Some of the other ones that were interesting on that one of your local clubs, Lydd Town, feature in the Northern Premier League Division 1 Midlands. Their trip to Spalding is the longest, 123 miles.
Yeah.
In terms of the Isthmian, we said they don't cover a great deal of distance because they're all southeast. They have got a 120-mile journey in Isthmian Division 1 North from Wroxham in Norfolk down to New Sadmis in North London. So that's a fair old trek as well. So,
Yeah.
I won't go through all of those divisions. So
No, that's fine.
But there you go. So that was just some sort of bit of some interesting numbers there, and that just puts into perspective some of the journeys that these teams are making. And like I say, once you get down past step 1 and step 2, for the most part, these are part-time clubs and part-time players.
Yeah.
For the most part, and travel costs have to be considered. Certainly.
Yeah. No, definitely. Just out of curiosity, and I knew that you were obviously doing that. I did the longest journey in Tividale's league.
That's a step 5 league, isn't it? So,
it is, yeah, which is Studley to Northwich Victoria. Now, I've double checked if they'd already played because Northwich have had to move grounds at this point because they play grounds, yeah. So they started off at Witton Albion.
Yeah.
Which was the first game of the season, so Studley did actually play them at Witton Albion. That's a 95-mile journey. Now, if they'd played them at Winsford, it's still, which is where they're playing now, Winsford United, it was 89 miles, so it was only a 6-mile difference. But for step 5, that is a hefty journey.
That's a fair old journey for a step 5 team, yeah, definitely.
Sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I might do step 5 and step 6, but step 5 and step 6 have got 16 leagues in each. Well, 17 in step 6, so that'd take a while to come up with the details for that one. But maybe I'll do that on a future episode.
Maybe.
Do that. But I thought that's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So, how we've been on the news this week?
There's a few things this week. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 talking points.
Okay, let's get talking.
But just looking at big scores.
Oh yeah,
I've got liking this. No, I've found what I'm classing as big scores is a team that wins by 4 goals or more, or a game that's got more than 5 goals in it. I've only done step 1 to 4 because, quite frankly, I got that many once I got to the end of step 4. I'm not going any further.
Okay. Is it a big weekend for goals then?
Yeah, so there was 22 games from step 1 to 4.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you. I can reel off all 22 or just pick out some big ones.
Pick out the big ones.
Yeah. So Aldershot 3, Eastleigh 5. Let's have a look. Macclesfield 3, Bradford Park Avenue 4. Harrow 4, Basingstoke 2. Accrington 2, Newton Aycliffe 4. Corby 3, Harborough 4. Yeah. Met Police 2, Ascot United 5. And then we have Herne Bay 4, Herndon 3, and Three Bridges 4, Grinsden 2. Those were the big ones.
Was that this weekend?
Yes.
Did you get Aldershot 3, Eastleigh 5?
That was the first one I said.
Was that the first one you said?
Yeah.
I wasn't listening, was I? Okay, shut up, Andrew. So, yeah. Just having a look through, yeah. So it's a lot of goals. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, major point from the Premier League this week, which is quite uncanny. It was obviously Tom Lockyer suffering his cardiac arrest on the
Yes.
pitch.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, I saw a tweet from a Ryan Coltress on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not sure who he plays for. He didn't say or anything, but it was that he collapsed on the pitch today.
Right.
And needed CPR.
Mhm.
So, in some weird line of the stars and some weird forces at play on the same
Yes,
weekend,
definitely.
he's also classed as needed CPR. Actually tweeted from the back of the ambulance. He had a picture of himself in the back of the ambulance. Obviously thanked the medical staff and whatnot at the game, but
Yeah.
finished with PS ref, you're going to get crucified when I see you. When do we not stop for his injuries?
Yeah.
But actually went on in the same thread to point out he was only joking and the ref was fantastic.
Yeah.
The reason I picked this up is good old ref support from Twitter, who likes jumping to the defence of referees. Put out a tweet with, hope you made a full recovery. Looks
Yeah.
like you have, as you've taken to social media to have a pop at the referee. Now, and then something about maybe you should point a finger at the players who try and con referees in, week out. Now, yes, I understand you're a charity that's there to stop the abuse of referees.
Yeah.
Yes, he's put that sentence at the bottom of his tweet. But he's taken this ref support's taking it out of context. He's not read the rest of the thing to get the context
Read
of
the
his
whole thing.
joking.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's distasteful posting that on a tweet where someone has essentially died.
Yeah.
To have a pop at
Yeah.
someone who's so yeah, just don't think he's really helping any referees' causes there by popping that on a tweet where someone has had to be resuscitated
Yeah,
on the pitch.
somebody's just been joking, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. Next thing, Lydd. I'm not sure what league this is. I didn't look. Lydd Town played Fisher FC at the weekend.
Lydd Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Fisher
Play
FC.
Fisher FC. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So Lydd Town are 2-0 up pretty early on.
Yeah.
Fisher pull it back to actually take the lead 3-2 with a penalty in end of stoppage time at the end of the game.
Yeah.
They were awarded another penalty.
Uh-huh.
But the game is abandoned before the penalty is taken.
Oh, clever.
So, got a statement from Lydd Town saying the referee abandoned the game due to Fisher supporters entering the field of play.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Fisher's statement have come out and saying they've got video evidence to support the fact that no one entered the field of play and it's been submitted to the league.
Right.
So, obviously, we're not there. Didn't see what happened. No. Don't know what happened. Can't really comment on it. But you would like to think that if a team has video evidence and
it would be considered. Yes.
It would be, and they're not going to submit something that's going to make them look bad.
No.
So.
No.
Maybe someone's entered the field of play, but maybe it's not a Fisher anything to do with Fisher.
No, I mean, this is it. I mean, you try and prove that somebody is supporting one team or another in those sort of situations. It's not easy to do.
Yeah, an interesting one because it does seem as though that from the reports and the statement from Lydd Town that the referee has gone with, it's a Fisher, someone associated with the Fisher that's entered the field of play. But as I say, if they've got the video evidence to say that wasn't, it'll be interesting to see what comes of it.
Yeah, well, in terms of leagues, Southern Counties East Premier Division, Step 5.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. And then we move to the North East, and it's been eventful week in the Shields.
Which one, South or North or both?
Both.
Okay, yeah.
North Shields released a statement saying they're in a difficult financial situation due to having so many games called off. There's been no income due to no gate receipts and whatnot, which has resulted in them not being able to pay the players for a couple of weeks or whatever because they've had no income.
Yeah.
The statement says, we communicated this to the players and management, and on the back of this, they decided to immediately leave the club.
Lovely.
So, on the outside, obviously we're only getting the club side. They turned their comments off, so no one could reply, but there's lots of quote tweets going on. I did my usual thing of putting my 2 pence worth in. Not with a non-league, not an after, with the footy post, don't worry.
That's all right, then. Good, yeah.
But I went with what an awful act from the North Shields players and management. What's the club supposed to do if they've got no money? Had it pointed out to me and explained to me, which is fair enough. It wasn't done in a patronising way, it was done in a way of, this is what's gone on. Basically, the players are contracted, whatnot, so yeah, there's been a breach of contract. And the club has been rather unhelpful and things have been going on in the background. So I think this has been a long time brewing, and it's more to do with the management of the club.
Right.
But it got us onto a conversation of on Twitter, which caused a little bit more of a debate than the actual point in the first place. Yes, maybe not at this level. They probably do deserve, but I was thinking more of Tividale's level, and I actually heard a comment on the YouTube video by Dash71, which I actually backed up my point. There are a lot of players now at Step 5 especially that are expecting mega money to be playing at Step 5.
Yeah.
When I first started with Tividale, I don't know if everyone was paid. If there were, it wasn't a lot. We're talking maybe 20, 25 quid a week. That was it. And the majority of that went straight back behind the bar after the game anyway. You have to bring in rules that if a player has to stay until a certain time, also going to get fined. To try and get some money back behind the bar. We're not asking for people to stay forever. It's not a long time. But we've found if that rule isn't in place, the place is empty by 5:15. Now people might, it's like, well, what do you mean? They're giving up the spare time, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday. I'm like, yeah, and it's semi-professional, it's not professional.
Yeah.
Now, all my roles I've taken up in semi-professional football, I've never taken a penny. I do it because I love the game.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that there is people at Step 5 now who are earning enough money to pay their monthly mortgage payment and then have some left over.
Yeah.
So like I say, there's a level where it comes in, and it's probably Step 3 where your contracts start getting paid about, and you're getting towards a little bit more of a professional.
Yeah.
I'd expect that kind of money up there to an extent. But the way I see it is, if you're playing football for a club, it's a privilege, and you don't have a God-given right to be expecting money every week. And I think things could be handled better potentially if the club's up front and saying, look, we want to pay you this much, but you've got to bear with us. We don't know how the season's going to go. We might not get gate receipts, so we're going to say this, but we might have to review it at a certain point.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of it comes down to what the agreement is in place at the time that the player decides he's playing for them. If he's told up front, you will get travel expenses and nothing else, then that's one thing. If you're told up front you will be paid £45 per match and then you're not, you've got an argument.
Definitely, 100%.
But it's a case of the club has to be honest in what they're going to be prepared to spend, and they must. And if they're going to have caveats like, if matches are postponed, we're not going to have the income, we're not going to be able to pay you.
Yeah,
it needs to be said up front and made clear to players that there will be times when we can't. We'll try and make it up to you when we can. But I mean, it's transparency, isn't it? So I think more than anything else, it's be transparent about what your expectations are and what you're going to try and deliver. So
Yeah, 100%, and that's exactly where we are at Tividale. We're transparent from the club to the management. I might get shared to that for sharing this, but we made it clear end of last season, going into this pre-season, that the club has no money, has no budget.
Yeah.
Made you quite aware to the fact that we are trying to raise funds, but you are most likely going to have to find your own playing budget, which he's gone out, and fair play to him, he's done.
Yeah.
Which is no easy task. So yeah, he's done very, very well. And but yeah, he's had absolutely no financial support from the club. He's got the wage budget himself, and if it wasn't for that, we would probably find ourselves in the same position really, like I said, at the bottom, at the rock bottom of the league, losing our good players every week, struggling, but not struggling to get a squad out. You'd always get players in, but not being able to compensate them. Not competitive, and finding ourselves in step 6 next season. But yeah, it's just sad the way the game's gone, especially the lower leagues over the last 5-10 years or so.
The expectations have risen to the point that clubs can't afford to meet those expectations. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
like you say, players need to understand that they're playing at a very low level, if we're honest. And effectively, they're playing for the fun of it and the love of the game, and that's what it should be. But
and it's unfortunately it's seen a fair few clubs at the level, and it gets to the point of, are we going to have a step 5 and 6 in a few years' time?
We shall see, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
I hope so. I enjoy going to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that brings us to the other half, South Shields.
South Shield,
yeah. Dave released a statement today. I only quickly scanned it and then forgot to go back to it, but it was along the lines of, it was from the chairman or the owner, just reiterating, like, I just want to put the end to some rumours. He's fully committed, both physically and financially, as much as he can be.
Yeah.
But there are talks ongoing surrounding his stake in the club, so potentially he can't meet the needs of the club, and he's looking to get investment in, which is fair enough. At least he's being open and honest.
Yeah, that's what you just said. Transparency. Let's be open and honest.
Yeah. I did see a few comments saying, "Well, what about this? What about that?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's not going to cover everything in a statement. I understand what you're saying, but at least he's told you, look, I'm here, I'm committed, but there's only so much I can do." Before I move on, I've got one more point, but before I move on, and it just popped into my head, and I will forget it if I don't say it now. Nuneaton Borough, we've spoken about quite a lot because of their situation.
Yeah.
Spoken about a couple of weeks ago, they've been saved, new owners.
Yeah.
They're looking for new owners again already.
Oh, God. Oh, dear.
Not sure why. I just saw it the other day saying, yeah, we're looking for new owners to take over from the owners who have saved us. Potentially indicating there's a lot more behind the scenes that people don't know about, but again, like, we can't comment on that.
Speculate if we haven't got the information there. So.
Yeah. And also, again, before I move on, I forget, Marsk United, we mentioned those last week.
Yeah.
Needing to raise some funds. They've got a GoFundMe. Looking to raise £120,000 in 2 weeks, so probably about another week left to go on that.
Yeah.
So anyone who can afford to donate, wants to donate, go and find that if you can. Obviously, cost of living and whatnot, times are tight, but if you can and you want to, try and help save the club. They're only at about £20,000 at the minute, so they've still got a long, long way to go.
That's an old one.
I think it was £19,840 earlier or something like that when I had a look.
Okay, yeah. I was just trying to look for it, but I've only found an old one. So
yeah, and it was 120,000 that they're looking to raise, so they still need another 100,000 at least.
Yeah, they're a long way short at the moment. So yeah.
So yeah, if you can't donate, find the link, share it, because someone might come across it who can, but who might never have found out about it otherwise. So anything helps.
Fundraising Save the Flood. Here we go. I found the right one now. So just have a look. So see if I can find the link to it. Find the fundraiser. Yeah, let's have a click. Because we've donated as non-league Nutter Natter. So they're on £21,055 now.
There we go. So less than £100,000 to go now.
Yep, less than 100,000 to go. Yep, 98,945.
Yep, getting there slowly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final thing from the news this week that I wanted to touch on is a 12.5-year ban for a Stratford Town player.
12.5-year ban?
Yes.
What the hell did he do?
So Stratford Town defender Keenan Isaac has been banned for 12.5 years for spot fixing.
For what?
Spot fixing.
Right.
So
gambling
rules.
Yeah,
gambling breaching the gambling rules. He deliberately got booked in their FA Cup tie against Shrewsbury in November 2021. Now, Stratford Town are fighting this cause, and they're going through the local MP as well. They're not arguing the fact he should be banned. They're arguing the inconsistency from the FA, given the Ivan Tony situation. So, as soon as he was alleged to have breached the rules, this Keenan Isaac, he was immediately banned. Whereas Tony was allowed to continue playing for 7 months.
Yeah.
And they feel that a 12.5-year ban is disproportionate, given it was one offence. Yes, okay, he's directly involved, whereas Tony wasn't. Like he didn't have anything to do himself or any games he was involved in. They feel 12.5 ban for one offence compared to 8 months for 232 offences is massively disproportionate.
It is disproportionate, yeah. Like you say, he was more directly involved than Tony was, but even so, it does seem a little bit disproportionate, definitely.
Yeah. They also point out that Keenan is to an extent, an amateur footballer compared to a professional footballer who is earning thousands and millions and whatnot. The professional footballer Ivan Tony, who is earning his thousands of pounds a week, has been offered counselling and support for his mental well-being and gambling addiction.
Yeah.
Whereas the FA have just thrown Isaac aside and said, bye-bye, see you later.
No, that definitely is not right. If you're going to offer something to one player, then you should be offering it to all. So, that one I'll definitely say is not right. So,
and it's also quite interesting because Lucas Paqueta of West Ham has also been accused of spot fixing for picking up yellow cards deliberately. I think it was in 2 games last season or the season before. Yeah, he's still on the pitch while it's investigated.
Yeah, so if he's being investigated, then why isn't he banned at the moment?
Yeah.
Pending, or you wouldn't even call it banned, you'd call it suspended pending investigation, wouldn't you? So,
it's garden leave essentially, isn't it? Yeah. So I just think it's very, very naughty from the FA.
Definitely seems to be. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the news for the week, is it?
It is.
So where are you off to on Saturday?
Hopefully, weather dependent, as always this time of year. Atherstone Town, that's where Tividale are.
Okay.
So that hopefully we get it in. The weather doesn't look too bad, but we'll see. How about you?
We'll see. Well, I may well go to Buckingham against Winslow.
Okay.
So it's a ground I haven't been to. Talking to Darren, it's his hometown club. So, I might see you there. So I may well go to Buckingham, and it's not too far away from here. So that might be my aim for Saturday. Just have to see which games are on and which aren't. So of course, if it gets called up, I'll go somewhere else. But
no, definitely.
That's the
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, so Christmas Monday, isn't it? Boxing Day Tuesday.
Yeah,
So
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day, we
I
are
won't be home in time to record Boxing Day, so I
no,
would suggest we record the next one next Wednesday, potentially.
definitely, 100%.
So I'll only have the weekend match to go by because I'm going to get to another one on Boxing Day. So
Hopefully, I'll have the weekend and Boxing Day. We were at home Boxing Day to Wolverhampton casual, so hopefully we can get both of those in.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay,
Cool.
cool.
All right.
Yes, have a good week, and we will reconvene next week.
Yep. Reconvene next week.
Yep.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.